Hey there, true believers, and today we're going to do our first ever What the Hell Is. And for this inaugural episode, we gonna now be talking about one of my favorite characters in Marvel's current run of Fantastic Four, Muse. That's right. You know, the guy that everybody seems to be asking, who the hell is Muse? Well, we're going to talk about that today. So let's jump into it. There are some light spoilers ahead for Fantastic Four Volume 6, issue number 28. So if you don't want to get spoiled, don't watch this video. Just read the comic. It's really good. Also, all the images you see in this video come from the previously mentioned Fantastic Four Volume 6, issue 28, unless otherwise noted. Okay, so who is Muse? Well, it turns out that Muse is actually quite a few people and also an alien race. The short answer is that Muse is an alien that comes from a planet called Kasan. Kasan is a world that is basically entirely composed of sentient musical energy, and the inhabitants of this world feed off of music, and more specifically, they feed off of emotions evoked by music. In fact, the planet itself has a giant orchestra formed of its own landscape to continuously make music, and the Kasonians, which is what the inhabitants are called, feed off of the music created by their homeworld. Now, each Kasonian has their own instrument that they use to create their own music, which they then contribute to the overall music of their planet. Each Kasonian is also given an alias when they join the orchestra, and that alias becomes their name. And this is where things get confusing, because as it turns out, Muse's true name is actually Orin, and he was known as the composer on his home planet. But here's where things get even crazier. As part of the Fantastic Four, Muse has taken on the alias of the Human Torch. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but this actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Both Johnny Storm and Muse have chosen new names and personas to protect the identities of those close to them. For example, Johnny took on the Human Torch persona to protect his sister, Sue, and his friend Ben, and Muse chose the name of the Human Torch to honor Johnny Storm, whose actions inspired him to become a hero. However, it doesn't stop there. The music that Muse plays is literally made up of human emotion. He can literally play any emotion on his keyboard, including the emotion of burning. And what does the Human Torch represent? If you guessed fire, then you would be correct. But there is yet another layer to this onion, and that is the fact that the music Muse creates is literally flames. Muse is able to create music, which in turn creates literal fire. And what does the Human Torch do when he uses his powers? He creates a flaming human torch, complete with music notes flying around. And when the torch passes the torch, literally, to Muse, it is established that they both represent the same thing, fire and music. And if you're still confused, well, there is a third layer to this onion, because it turns out that Muse wasn't always Muse. He used to be a member of the Future Foundation, and he went by the name of 314 or Pi. And what is the mathematical constant that represents both fire and music? If you guessed Pi, then you would be correct. So Muse used to be known as Pi. He represented the Future Foundation as Pi, and now he's changed his identity to represent the Fantastic Four as the Human Torch. And if you're still confused, and at this point, if you aren't confused, I am legitimately surprised. Let me break it down for you. Music. Music is the universal language. It can evoke any emotion. Emotions. Music is like fire. It can burn within us. Fire. Fire is music. It is literally music. I mean, listen to this. Piano keys are black and white, just like a piano. Player piano rolls are also black and white. They look just like sheet music. The music Muse plays burns and explodes, just like the Human Torch. When the Human Torch passes the torch to Muse, the music notes are flying everywhere. Just like when the Human Torch uses his powers, the music of Muse is literally flames. The Human Torch passes the torch to someone who is literally the embodiment of his power, and the music of Muse is a representation of human emotion. The Human Torch has risked his life countless times to protect the people he cares about. The music of Muse is born from the emotions of humans. Muse honors Johnny Storm by taking on the identity of the Human Torch. Johnny Storm passed the torch to someone who is literally the embodiment of his power, and that someone is not only a musician, but a mathematician who represents the concept of pi. Alright, I think I got all that straight. Anyway, moving on. But wait, there's yet another twist. Muse isn't the only Kasonian alive. There are apparently others out there. In fact, there is a group of Kasonians trying to take over the universe. They call themselves the greatest show on Earth. and they believe that they are superior to all other life in the universe. They also believe that all other music and emotions are inferior to theirs, and they plan to conquer the universe and make all planets into musical instruments to create the greatest song in existence. To achieve this goal, they've enslaved many different species and forced them to become part of their orchestra, and they are currently searching for more members to join their band. Now, I know this might sound like just another wacky space opera villain origin story, but bear with me, it gets way crazier. You see, the leader of the greatest show on Earth is known as Maestro, and Maestro is none other than Muse's brother. So it turns out that there is a cosmic thread of musicians from a planet feeds off of music and emotions who are enslaving other species to join their band in order to create the greatest song in existence. Again, this may sound like a wacky space opera plotline, but it actually has a lot of weight behind it. I mean, the Fantastic Four have faced some pretty crazy villains in their time, but this one might take the cake. So who is Muse? Well, he's a musician from a planet that feeds off of music and emotions. He was once a member of the Future Foundation and went by the name of 314 or Pi. He is the brother of Maestro, the leader of the greatest show on Earth. He's a superhero who can create flames from his music. He's an alien with an alias. He's a musician with a mathematical alias. He's a former member of a team. He's an honorary member of a different team. He is an alien who saved a human life and chose to honor that human by becoming the Human Torch. Who is Muse? Well, he's the Human Torch, obviously. I mean, duh. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this first ever What the Hell Is episode. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if there is anyone or anything you want to see us cover in a future episode of What the Hell Is, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, stay nerdy, and above all else, stay fantastic.